My name is Melanie Bosch, and I'm going to take you through Leading Indicator 2.1. The school communicates a clear vision of how teachers should address instruction. When we completed our survey for Level 2 and we looked at the results, the staff showed 3.60 and the admin showed a 3.50. Although these are acceptable scores, the HRS leadership team decided that this was an area that we needed to improve upon. In reviewing our Level 2 survey findings and our current practice on the Level 2 leadership scale, the HRS leadership team determined the need for an improved campus model of instruction. During our Level 1 work, we adopted a very basic instructional model that outlines specific practices that should be seen, might be seen, or should never be seen in Windthorst secondary classrooms. This model was adopted and presented to the staff. Over time, our leaders and staff realized this model pertained more to rules and procedures rather than creating a common instruction language. As we use the HRS leadership scale to reflect on our current practice in Leading Indicator 2.1, our leadership team identified us being in the beginning level of implementing a campus-wide common language and model of instruction. We set a goal for our campus to develop and then move to apply to the applying level, a more detailed and meaningful framework. This slide shows the practices and artifacts that we are going to choose to highlight: the creation of the Windthorst secondary instructional model, how we connected T-test domains to the NASOT framework, how we introduced the instructional model to our staff, and teacher goal alignment to the instructional model. As previously said, in 2020, when we completed our Level 1, we implemented this basic instructional model. As we reflected on the initial model from 2020, we realized the functionality of the model was a problem. It was something to hang on the wall, but was not something that was being put into practice. We knew that we needed to rework the model and wanted teacher input as much as possible. The team felt a new document should be teacher created and content areas should have ownership. To select the elements included in the instructional model, the secondary teachers were given a survey. The staff responded with the top 5 most relevant and useful elements implemented in their classrooms. 20 teachers responded, and it was concluded that the top 5 elements were noticing and reacting when students are disengaged, giving quality and timely feedback, stating clear learning goals, chunking content into digestible bites, and academic vocabulary instruction. This graph shows the results from the staff survey. The arrows indicate the top 5 elements that were selected by the staff. This is the first version of the instructional model created by the leadership team. The center of the model referred to the elements selected by the staff through the survey. The next revision led us to adding additional elements to our instructional model to ensure all 3 instructional categories from the NASOT placemat were represented. We included elements from the feedback, content, and context categories in our model for a well-rounded approach. After the initial work on our new instructional model, the HRS leadership team attended a training on HRS Level 2 and realized our model needed to be revised again. Within this revision, we made it a priority to align the NASOT elements included in the instructional model to the domains in T-test, or the Texas Teacher Evaluation and Support System. This is a chart that shows the connection between NASOT elements in the framework and the T-test domains. This represents our final version of the instructional model. This also includes the correlation between the NASOT elements and the T-test domains. To introduce the instructional model to secondary teachers, Principal Longcrier selected one element from the model to introduce at a time. During a 5-week period, Mr. Longcrier focused on each element during the PLC meeting, conducting a mini professional development on that topic. Mr. Longcrier modeled strategies and expectations for implementing these elements along with using resources from the Marzano Resource Compendium and exemplar videos. Teachers were given time to collaborate with their content teams as they planned how to introduce the specific elements in their classroom to supplement instruction. These photos were taken during one of those staff development professional trainings over the new instructional model. Each year, teachers establish a professional goal in T-TESS, or the Texas Teacher Evaluation and Support System. The goal is written at the beginning of each school year and periodically reviewed at the beginning, middle, and the end of the secondary year. This model, the instructional model, connects the goal to T-TESS and elements in the NASOT. Level 2.1 is an area of growth for us. In closing the loop, the Windthorst Secondary has worked hard to communicate a clear vision as to how teachers should address instruction. Teacher input was a major consideration in the process of updating our instructional model. The staff was trained on best practices for implementing each piece of the model, and connections were made with the state mandate teacher evaluation system, or T-TESS. The final version of the instructional model was printed and distributed to teachers. This document is readily accessible, and many teachers have this reference hanging on the wall in their classroom. Teachers can describe major elements of the school-wide model of instruction when they are asked, and a common instructional language is used during collaboration, PLC meetings, and during staff meetings on a regular basis. These are pictures of the instructional models posted in our teacher's lounge and on a classroom bulletin board. These pictures show the goals posted outside of each teacher's classroom, showing which NASOT element they are focusing on. A survey was recently sent to all Windthorst secondary teachers to gauge the effectiveness of the new instructional model. This data shows the results of that survey. Our survey concluded that 83% of our teachers agree that the instructional model has made them more aware of their teaching practices. Additionally, 83% feel their students understand the instructional model, and 92% of our teachers consider the instructional model when planning lessons. To further support our action plan, we gathered quotes. We gathered a quote from our secondary counselor, a secondary student, and teachers. And these quotes show the effectiveness of leading indicator 2.1.